Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the TV studios of WFYI Public Media. For those of you who have not had the opportunity to meet, my name is Lloyd Wright. I'm the President and CEO here at WFYI, and we're delighted to have you here with us this morning for a really exciting announcement about a group of people over the last few years that have come together around improving educational outcomes for really all of the citizens of Central Indiana, from cradle to career, as we like to say. I wanted to mention from a WFYI public media standpoint that a part of what we try to do is amplify the voices of our community, and we do that in a variety of different ways, trying to figure out how we can use our non-commercial educational media assets, television, radio, online, in person, to make a difference in the community in areas of health and wellness and arts and culture, in history and heritage. We're trying hard to expand our news and public affairs capability, but especially where education and lifelong learning is concerned, we are very focused in trying to make improvements in the quality of life of Central Indiana. And one of our initiatives is called the American Graduate Let's Make It Happen. It's a long-term commitment to trying to improve the high school graduation rates in Central Indiana. Actually a national program. There are about 80 PBS stations involved, over 1,000 community organizations. For us in Central Indiana here at WFYI, we have about 50 organizations that are participating with us in what started in 2011. We hope that we can sustain that effort over a long period of time. But it was through the American Graduate Initiative that we learned about the Central Indiana Education Alliance and this Cradle to Career initiative that is built around the characteristics of what we call collective impact. It's what can happen when a lot of organizations, committed leaders, people in our community come together around a common agenda, a common set of measures of success, shared experiences, what works and what doesn't work, what to do more of, what to do less of, or to quit doing, and continuous communication led by a single backbone organization or an anchor institution. So the Alliance and all the individuals standing behind me that represent over 200 organizations in our community are committed to collective impact. And we've been fortunate since the initiative began to have IUPUI as the anchor institution, the backbone organization. So at this time, it's my pleasure to welcome the Chancellor of IUPUI and the convener of the Central Indiana Education Alliance, Charles Bantz. Charles?
Good morning, and I want to thank WFYI Lloyd for the leadership. The description of collective impact really does frame the conversation today. And what I'd like to do with all of these amazing people standing behind me who are representatives of the Central Indiana Education Alliance, I think of them now as the choir, and a really good-looking one, by the way. I will not lead the singing, but let me make some remarks and then we'll be able to take questions following that. But let me start first with outlining. This is an amazing time of the year in my world and those of us who care about education, because this is truly millions of people are planning to graduate from high school, from college. It is this time, I say always, of academic achievement and celebration on my campus at IUPUI and in our community across coast to coast, for that matter. That makes this a perfect time, I think, to review the findings of the Central Indiana Education Alliance and to stage the organization's first education weekend. I want to talk about 4 separate announcements that we're making today, and I want to start first with formally announcing the name change. From the Central Indiana Talent Alliance, which started, as you heard, 4 years ago, to a more defining name of the Central Indiana Education Alliance. It's a different name, but it's the same goal, as you heard, to assure that every child is ready for school, that everyone graduates from high school, and that everyone is successful in college. Alliance members behind me and throughout our community address the most pressing educational challenges facing our communities, while at the same time leveraging our greatest assets and the opportunities for student and career advancement. The second announcement is to show you the new logo for the Central Indiana Education Alliance, the collective voice of the advocates for policy initiatives here in Central Indiana to enhance education equity, attainment, and advancement while supporting programs that lead to formative change. And as you see, the focus on fostering success from cradle to career. The third announcement is issuing today our 2013 annual report from the Greater Indianapolis community to provide data on how the community is fostering success from early childhood through college, and careers for our young citizens. Among the many findings here, and we have copies for you as you leave, in the annual report, the data indicate that low-income children who are enrolled in preschool programs that meet quality standards in Central Indiana and Marion County has increased from 24%, where it was in 2009, to 45% in 2013 in this county. That is an amazing effort that has taken a lot of members of our community, the United Way in political action as well. In addition, the report found that four-year graduation rates for Marion County High School graduates have increased from 71% in 2009 to 84% in 2014, a key improvement for Indiana. I-STEP passing rates for third and eighth graders, improved over the last 4 years in Marion County, but they still remain below the the state average, which is a major concern that we talk about in this report. Education Alliance have been issued for each of the past 4 years, and we have, as a result now, some comprehensive data that allow us to examine issues of education success for all children in the greater Indianapolis area, including income levels of households and unemployment rates, status of support systems that provide child development and school readiness. We've got, as you heard, the I-STEP passing rates, the high school graduation rates, and we have additional data on college attainment. In addition, some of the things that come out in this report are there are more than 125,000 individuals in Marion County alone that have some college but no degree. A huge opportunity to increase collegiate attainment by getting those individuals to complete those degrees. We have a really distressing number, 74,401 children under the age of 18. 32% of the children in Marion County are living in poverty, which is a key factor that affects our ability to achieve academic success. And the 2012 data on Marion County median income reinforces what we know to be the case, that if you are simply a high school graduate, so getting everyone through high school, the median income is $26,000, whereas college graduates, it is nearly $42,000. And so those individuals with some college but no degree provide us a huge opportunity for the possibility of improvement. Today, I represent here, as you see, an amazing coalition that goes beyond these individuals, but over 200 visionary, committed leaders from education and business, nonprofit, community, civic, and philanthropic institutions who believe we can do better and deal with some of these shortcomings. The fourth announcement relates to the Education Weekend. We are going to offer forums of community dialogue and the potential for broadening the base of public engagement about issues related to education and education excellence. Education Weekend will be May 16th, 17th, and 18th. Its theme is Quality, Equity, and Success, Looking Back and Moving Forward. That message suggests that while we retain effective practices and strategies, we continue to explore innovative, comprehensive ways to address current and future educational challenges. Events for the weekend will be held in a number of area venues, and we'll have information available to be distributed during the press conference. One activity we want to draw to your attention, because it is truly celebrating one of this country's historic events. At Marion University on May 17th, there will be a panel discussing the impact of Brown versus Board of Education, which almost to the day is 60 years ago. which is amazing if you think about that. It should provide, I think, a great retrospective on the change of that dramatic change in American life. Other highlights are going to include the very first Rotary Education Week Equity Awards. We're going to have STEAM Day. That would be science, technology, engineering, and we add the arts, as well as mathematics. And that's going to be at the Fashion Mall at Keystone. We'll also have a salute to the 2014 4A Indiana State High School Association basketball champion Arsenal Tech team, and a tip of a hat to Jamal Smith, who is behind us, who has been very involved in the Arsenal Tech team and their academic success. That'll be at the main library, and we're going to have numerous conversations in the community sponsored by the religious community in looking at the effect of religion on educational success. So we're looking forward to this first education weekend. Events are going to be informative, but they're also going to be engaging and compelling, designed to raise interest and activity of the community about the common cause of improving education. We hope that you will join on those days, and we thank you for coming today, and I'm open for questions, as is my choir with me. Any questions? Yeah. It's a great question. What do we do about individuals who have some college but no degree? If she were here, Kathy Lee from Ivy Tech would say this is at the center of Ivy Tech's mission, and our colleague who is here with us today is nodding his head in agreement. Ivy Tech has enormous number of opportunities that they reach out offering programs to draw people back, but so do the rest of us in higher education. It is a very common thing on our campus to have a class that includes someone who is 17 and someone who is older than that. And I say that because they could be as older as I am, or they could be. And it's because we try and draw into different programs. We have in different institutions tried strategies of literally looking into our own records, finding who is close, reaching out and contacting them and trying to draw them back into degrees. One of the other things we've been working on in the Central Indiana Education Alliance is specifically trying to support employers and encourage employers to go back to supporting students and their employees going for education. The reimbursement programs, unhappily, collapsed during the Great Recession. And as a result, we did see fewer people coming back, because that is, I think, one of those incentives that draw people into education and help them persist. It's hard work to work full-time and go to school. We have thousands of people in Central Indiana, though, who do that and have finished amazing degrees and have gone on to amazing careers. But it is helpful with the financial incentive, I think, gives that little push to do it. The other way I always describe, and I encourage you and our colleagues do this, which is in your community, in your neighborhood, when you know someone, encourage them to do it. Sometimes it's a friend, it's a family member who says, you can do this, I'll help out and I'll be the babysitter, I'll be the one who cooks dinner on Tuesday night. That kind of support, I think, is very, very important. And I think making sure people realize that that opportunity is there for them. The final thing is, I encourage people to look at the programs we have. In the array of institutions, we have programs that serve careers. Almost everything that occurs in Central Indiana is a career. We have a program to help support that. And sometimes people don't realize that we've developed programs, whether it's occupational therapy at our friends at UIndy, and we happen to have motorsports engineering. We have a whole set of programs that fit with the industry that we have and the opportunities. And information technology, I want you to know I never go to a meeting that I don't hear. I don't have enough people who do that kind of work, and we all offer those programs. A long answer, I hope that's helpful. I see your hand. Yeah? Absolutely. Flexibility is a key part. Offering programs online, offering hybrid programs that have different meeting schedules, offering daytime, nighttime, weekends. A number of us do a lot of that. If you've ever been certainly on IUPUI's campus at the 6:30 hour, you realize there are a lot of people coming to class at night, and Ivy Tech tried that midnight class, which I thought was a great experiment. You try these. Those kinds of opportunities. We find, and Ivy Tech's done a great program on this where, and I don't remember the acronym, the one you're doing the compressed program. ASAP. ASAP. That's to do a whole 2-year degree in a shorter time by going full-time. And that's for somebody who can stop out and do that. So that kind of flexibility is really important. We believe that online is going to be essential for almost all of these because of the work schedules people deal with. It may not be all of it, but it is a key part of it for individuals. But flexibility is important. Financial support is important. The state of Indiana is generous in financial support, which is helpful, but we need to assist. Yes? Let me say a few things, and then I will ask my colleagues who've worked very hard on this to add to it. For the first piece is we have to constantly raise awareness of educational opportunity. One of the things those of us who have been fortunate to have college education and complete high school successfully don't always realize is how many people don't. Roughly half of our incoming freshmen are still the first in their family or the first generation to go to college. They don't have a family support system that taught them about college, and so that's not unique. And so we find that as we look across the population in central Indiana. We need to raise awareness, raise the aspirations and opportunity. I thought particularly, excuse me, clever, frankly, was the bringing in the religious community, because we know that the religious community has very close, important contacts with family and students, and that is a great way to make that a part of the conversation and bring another voice to raising awareness. And those are, for me, the key things. The other opportunity is that people STEAM education, people do not always realize what that means as a set of opportunities. People say art and they sometimes think, well, that means you can't get a job. I'm sorry, designers have opportunities. I mean, how many things have we learned from Apple, you know, when we know that Apple is essentially a key part of their success is design. Art made a difference in that. On the other hand, we all know the technology underneath it is critical, including science, technology, engineering, and math. All of that was essential to the success of that kind. We can elaborate that. People don't realize those careers all exist. And I think I'm always sort of struck relearning, again, every fall, how individuals have very narrow understandings of what career opportunities are. You know your family, your friends, what you may have seen on television, you don't know many other things. And I think that's a key part of it. And I'm going to turn around and ask any colleagues you want to add to that?
Well, there's Angelique, there's Charlotte, and there's Jamal.
Angelique, you want to speak to the religious?
Hi.
You've done a great job.
Thank you, Chancellor. Angelique Walker-Smith from the Church Federation of Greater Indianapolis. We are delighted that the religious community has come alongside of this very important initiative. We are looking for 150 touches. What does that mean? Good language for the religious community, right? 150 touches means that congregations we're inviting to lift up sermon materials and the important history of the religious community affirming education as a background. Many of our schools were started first by religious communities. Many of our colleges and universities have a historic background with the religious community. And so we're lifting that up, telling that story. Cardinal Ritter is one name that comes to mind. His name will be recognized that evening. Father Hardin is another one. His name will be recognized that evening. We could go down the list. So the religious community will be lifted up, celebrated for its commitment to education historically, and especially advocacy with Brown versus Board of Education, and even today. We think it's an important partnership, and we're delighted to be a part of this collaboration.
And I want Patricia Martin, I want you to me.
Oh, sure.
Patricia Barden works with the the Fashion Mall at Keystone. And what we were trying to do, and my name is Charlotte Westerhouse Renfro, and I'm a senior lecturer at the Kelley School of Business. Chancellor Vance is my boss, as a matter of fact, so maybe that's why I'm here. But more importantly, he mentioned an awareness of STEAM. And many of the various opportunities of STEAM, if you want to be aware, you have to kind of go to them. Maybe add an institution, maybe add a college, or maybe add an art museum, or maybe add an event. We wanted to bring the opportunities to the people. And the Fashion Mall at Keystone was a wonderful way of doing it in a way where they can be interactive. They can touch it. Parents can learn how to use math skills over the summer to retain the math skills their children learned before they came out for the summer. They can hear and listen to the art and see how it's actually applied and perhaps a career. They can actually learn a lot more about technology by seeing it as well, and it's in a great environment. As a group, we really were concerned that sometimes when we have these programs, the same people show up. Now we can go somewhere where we know a lot of people are going to show up because, like many of us, we're at the mall on Saturday.
Yes.
So from 11 to 4, we're going to be at your mall.
Yes. Fashion
And-
Mall Keystone. I'll tell you a little bit more, and we are really excited to host this at the Fashion Mall Keystone. And that's especially exciting to us because we are a luxury property in the Simon portfolio, but we're really a fusion center of retail. And with that, what we're really working towards is having the mall as a place where the community gathers. And this is a great way to launch that for us. The community already does it, but we want it to officially be a venue for the community to gather in, and this is such a positive way to do that. But at the same time, what we really do is connect communities with brands, right? That's a really neat way to say what a mall is, but that is what we do. So with that and this STEAM Day, we will involve some of our retailers with the various opportunities there will be to engage with STEAM and then re-engage with your education, no matter if you're a toddler or if you are, as they said, 55 and you want to re-engage in your education. So we will have different areas in the property that will be dedicated to science and math, fine arts, music arts, and then we'll have engineering, technology, and then arts near the Saks Wing, for instance, and that will be anything from fine arts, where students are showcasing what they have put together at school, but also computer arts where you can do a touch screen and learn, for instance, what someone would do to create something like this. So that's exciting for us to be a part of, and again, really invite the community in to enjoy our center. Mm-hmm.
Well, Jamal Smith, and I guess by day I am the executive director of the Indiana Civil Rights Commission, but along with Angelique and Charlotte, one of the co-chairs for the weekend. From a community engagement standpoint, and I think Chancellor Vance spoke very eloquently about the awareness and the importance of awareness. I just recently read an article that spoke about how education begets education, right? And how those who have educated parents and grandparents typically, without thought, attend college. And the verses tends to be true as well. So getting out and speaking and showcasing the importance of education as well as the opportunities that lie within education is, I think, one of the focal points. Also, too, one of the missions that we received was to make sure that we promote and broadcast all of the good points, the wins, the best practices that are existing in education, specifically public education. You know, all the ills and the woes of education are well documented. Everybody's got an opinion about what should be done, what should stop, what should begin. But the truth of the matter is there are some really, really positive things that are happening in education, and what we want to do is leverage, thanks to WFYI, but the media in every capacity, as well as broadcast, radio, what am I trying to say, tweet and Twitter and Facebook, to make sure that we touch everybody and highlight whether it's a student that has overcome trials and tribulations to achieve academic success, or a teacher who has a limited budget and has still found ways to do very, very good work academically for their students, or a program, or even a school that has, been unwielded despite, whatever circumstances they've been placed in. Those things, places, and people exist. And one of the focal points for the weekend is to make sure that we highlight those things and make sure that the people who are not aware of those educational pluses are made aware of those things, which is why the equity awards are extremely important. For example, Chancellor Benz, and I'm very proud of them, by the way, the Tech High School boys basketball team, who are state champions, but I think the underlying story in that are all the positive things that those young men do off the court. You mentioned the team GPA that hovers around 3.0, which is remarkable. But throughout the season, these guys do community service in a variety of different capacities. They go do neighborhood cleanups. They pick a cause every year. Last year, sickle cell. This year, cancer. We visit the cancer hospital and sit with the cancer patients. They go and they read to elementary students, and this is all the while they're practicing and having to engage in their basketball responsibilities and maintain that GPA, by the way. And I'll say, find me a college team that does that much off the court, let alone a high school team, and not very many people know of that success of these young men. And so those are examples of the things that we want to promote. So if there was a metric that we were looking to have as we come out of this weekend, is to make sure that we highlight as many of those success stories as we possibly can. So thank you.
Other questions? Yes. I'm going to, excuse me, the allergy season. I would attribute it to the fact that there has been such a systematic focus on trying to improve third grade reading, for example. That's been a very high priority. And we certainly know that people, by tracking, have done that. What I can't speak to is, because it's not the level I'm aware of, is the specific reading strategies, for example. And I can turn around and ask if someone could add more. That'd be Pat Rogan.
I'm Pat Rogan, Executive Associate Dean of the School of Ed at IUPUI. And the increase in performance of students on standardized tests, as well as the increase in graduation rates, can be attributed to, first and foremost, the incredibly hard work of educators in our public schools who are going above and beyond every single day under extraordinary circumstances, in some cases, to invest in the success of their students. Yes, certainly the increased attention on the fact that we need students to be successful as literate citizens, and we need to increase the opportunities of high school graduates, and aiming at those targets has refocused attention in the schools. But finally, I think that we must say that we've increased the partnerships of the business community, of the university, and others investing in our schools, and increasing the capacity that they have to address the multiple and quite extensive needs of our student body today.
All right. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for coming. We want to thank our colleagues from WFYI, and I'll ask Lloyd to come forward.
Just my pleasure to thank you all again for being here, and I'm sure members of the Alliance are glad to stick around. If you have questions for them, they'd be glad to talk with you about that. But thanks to the media for being here. We really do think that creating greater awareness of these issues and trying to lead to a greater understanding and ultimately moving people to action. We hope that your stories, we hope that Education Weekend will inspire people to get back in school or to become a mentor, become a tutor, make a difference in the community by taking action around the importance of educational outcomes. So thank you all for being here. We'll stick around, and glad to talk to you more, but thanks for coming out. Thanks to Charles Bantz and all of our colleagues that are here and all those that aren't. Thank you very much. Have a great day.